Hello, my name is Second, and we're here in the basement. We're playing FTB Plexiglass Mountain, and the first thing we're doing today, folks, is something about this basement. I like the aesthetic of the walls, but it is too dark to really do a lot of recording down here, I feel like, and we are going to be down here a lot. It looks like it's one of those packs with the creative items we can make, so that's going to be our goal. It's going to take a lot of automation. This is where we're going to do it. Now what I'd like to do is white concrete, and we could craft up a bunch of, concrete powder and place it, splash water down on it, or build towers up to the build limit of powder and throw a bucket down and then watch as it slowly disappears over the next 5 minutes. I don't want to do any of that. We're going to automate it. What I think we need is a fluid encapsulator. We've seen all the recipes. But let's make sure. We're going to do concrete, like I hope I said. So let's see. Yeah, fluid encapsulator recipe. That's fine. Now, what we're going to want, because we're not automating this, we may have to make more than one. But I want to try to keep the size of this area, the assemblers and providers, in check. So if we can, if there's something we're only going to make one or two times, we're probably not going to automate it. So let's start over here. Let's see, in cap, that'll do it for us, right? So we will need copper gears, which, aren't a big deal. One of these. The machine frame I just might automate because we're going to make a bunch of those. Set those to use substitutions, and I taught this thing how to make a tin gear. I have not. Whoop. So let's go ahead and do that too. We'll throw these. Oh, I think I'm going to even need another pattern provider. Okay, so I had to cut out a little video. Sorry about that. I got a knock on the door that wasn't anybody who, nobody ever knocks on your door who you want to talk to anymore. It never seems to happen. We are going to have to figure out a way to get water in here. I'm going to set this to export out the bottom. But we're taking power in the back. We're going to export, or import, I should say, I guess, into our ME system from underneath. Maybe we could go in through the front. So we'll try the simple solution first. Let's see, first of all, no. Okay, so we'll need to have like a spot for it free on at least one side so that we can get water in there. But it's certainly not the end of the world. We can do that. Not like that, but we can do it. So let's see. We'll make this side an input as well, right? Yeah. And we will take some pipe. And we'll set this to extract or pull or push or whatever it calls itself. So this thing will be full of water. We'll only use this fluid encapsulator for water recipes. It may not even be enough fluid encapsulators for just the water recipes. But what we're going to do now, we're just going to do it simple. We're doing white concrete. I used it in FTB1, and I really like it. There we go. I'm sure we have more patterns. Glowstone essence. Teach you how to make glowstone essence. Okay. Aha. I knew this day would come. We are going to want more seed reprocessors. I don't think we need the top tier now that we have it, now that we're going to be automated with it. Because really, you only process a few seeds at a time. But we can make a nice one. Okay, it was kind of trivial to get up to the Imperium level, so that's what we're going to use. Okay, so what we're going to do here is a little funky. It's a processing with fluids, right? So we're going to, like if we hit this to show all, it'll show us something different. Oh no, that's all in here. But we're just going to get rid of it. We could actually use one piece to tell the machine what this is going to make. Actually, it looks like it already is. So let's see what happens. I have not tried this. Let's see what happens here. Let's say I want 4 stacks of white concrete. Or we'll say 300. Okay, we need to teach it white dye. It thinks it knows what to do. So that's, oh, for crying out loud. There's the powder. Come on. That fluid encapsulator recipe is something about it. It just seems to get it everybody's way. I don't know what's going on there. Is that connected? Okay, I'm getting distracted. So let's try that again. Okay. Let's see what happens over here. What it should do is it should just throw it in here, assuming that we enable auto input. Okay, yeah. And let's get rid of all of these. Auto output enabled. Well, if that's the fluid encapsulator, what's over here? Did I make 2 of these? Have I gone bananas? I do not remember making 2 of these, folks. Weird. I remember what this was for. What this is to help when we start actually using the magma crucible. This will take the fluid from the magma crucible and allow us to put it, to use it. That's what that's for. Okay, we just haven't done any of that yet. I was just over-prepared. It worked just fine. Is that what having smooth lighting off does? Oh, there's minimum. Okay, we'll take minimum. And hopefully that won't cause us any performance issues. It was causing us performance issues. That's okay. I actually kind of like this. Okay, I seem to have found a happy medium. I know I'll get yelled at by somebody if I have if the smooth lighting off is really obvious on white concrete. But we minimize the performance hit by turning VSync off and turning the clouds off. It'll probably be faster if I just did it like this, huh? Now last time we were able to make our first frosty confetti, which is just a crafting ingredient that we're going to need to make some of the things we need to make the creative energy cell, or cube, I guess. So the main issue is this Tesseract Plexiglass. We got a hold of the frosty confetti. Next, we got to think about the half heart. Now, the heart fragments are easy. We have more of, I want to say, the yellow and the green ones than we can use. To give us hearts. But the metallic shard is going to be an issue. We're going to need 1 each of all 5 of these ingots and a full source jar, which is It's easy enough. Endarium we have. Refined obsidian we can get. Corrupted, I don't think that's too bad. Soul stained steel ingot, Malum's been pretty comprehensible. But the Terrasteel, this we're gonna have to get pretty far into Botania to access. Now, once we get there, we can make seeds, so we will. But we're gonna have to take a quick stab through Botania, rush to the Terrasteel. Now, generally, the way to start Botania is to go out and pick flowers. There's 16 colors. You can find them in the world. Or you can use... Oh, we need more. We need to teach it how to make dye essence now. That's okay. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go ahead and use this floral fertilizer. Tell you, I'm always in the middle of these great sentences and having to do something to teach that thing to do something. It just always gets me every time. Anyway, you can make the floral fertilizer from bone meal and any dyes, and you can actually make dyes from. There might be other recipes for it. Nah, looks like this is it. You can make dyes from the flowers, but stuff works just like bone meal, except it only grows these flowers. So if you got the bone meal, like we do, and you got the dye, like we do, it'll save you some boot metal. Now, we haven't done anything with Botania, but I guess I already have the flowers growing. Still, just as good to have the floral fertilizer mechanic explained, in case you've never seen it. First thing we need is a Petal Apothecary. And they're not too hard to make. It's just, you know, we just need any petal. And the way you get the petals is just by crafting one of the flowers with itself. And it's just cobblestone these days, no cobblestone slabs. Now it's going to take water, and this is where all our stuff is. So we're just going to slap it down here for the time being. And then we can always just kind of fill it from here. Now the pure daisy is very easy to make. All we need are 4 white petals. And this is true of every Botania Petal Apothecary recipe. They all need a seed. And what you do is you cue them in here. Not a right click, it's a cue, but they go right in. It's a very good mechanic. Throw your seeds in, and you get your flower back out. We got a pure daisy. What the pure daisy does is transformation. I think we'll do Botania right out here. Why not? I'll get a little bit out of the way. You can get a couple different vanilla resources with this, and I'll bet it's integrated with, what is it, JEI, REI? Yeah, so you can get like, oh. So we can get the soul ice from this thing, okay. Packed ice to blue ice, netherrack to cobble, I think those are vanilla. This one I've never seen. But I think 1.17 is the first version with Deep Slate has a vanilla item, like Quark used to add it. But stone into living rock is one we're definitely interested in. And any log into living wood log is another thing we want. Some of the rest of these, this one isn't new. Some of those are either new or they're specific to the pack. I guess we'll find out as we get farther into modded Minecraft for modern versions. If you're interested in retro versions of modded Minecraft, just a shameless self-plug here, there's a series starting in a few days where I'm going to be playing different older mod packs, 1.12 and before. We're starting with FTB Revelation, which looks pretty good so far. Anyway, the way this works is you place whatever you're placing right next to the pure daisy, on the level with it, same Y level. And you'll get the particle effects, and after about a minute, you'll get your item. There we go. And this is oh, that texture's nice, isn't it? And been updated. That's quite nice. Strip it? You can even strip it. Cool. We're going to turn one of these into planks. We're going to turn two of them into planks because the living wood planks are kind of the first thing that we need to set us up with some mana generation. Another thing we're going to need, though, is something to produce the mana. We're going to use Endoflames to start with because Endoflames are awesome. And we're going to make 8 of them to start with. Well, we don't need the red shimmering mushrooms. I keep clicking it. Anyway, it's red petals, brown petals, and I want to say light gray. Yeah, light gray. So all very doable. What the Endoflame does is it produces mana, which is kind of the energy of the mod, by consuming burnables like coal or charcoal, that kind of thing. Now we're going to want to automate it, which is very, very easy to do. And we're going to want a bunch of them because I have found this system to be extremely efficient in terms of like production and time. And here's another thing I wanted to show you. We can right click with an empty hand and put all the petals right in there from the last recipe. So you don't always have to be sorting through your inventory, especially with some of the bigger recipes that use like, 8 different things. The ability to just reload it like that is really cool. First place I saw this style of Endoflame automation was one of Direwolf 20's videos very long time ago, and I will say that it's definitely this style, although I'm not sure how much. Actually, we'll do this, right? Yeah. How much of this actually resembles what he did in that video at this point. But the mechanic was his idea. At least that's where I got the mechanic from. What we want is this really useful item, the open crate. And there's other items in modded Minecraft that do this right now, but this is the original right here. What the open crate does is, can we get this on here? Thank you. The open crate works like a dropper, except it drops straight down. It doesn't throw stuff all over the place like, like a common zombie. What this is going to do, we might even be able to make this one slimmer. I don't think we actually need the extra piece of redstone. Slimmer we can make this, the happier I'll be. Because there are a few things we're going to make from Botania that are going to take up some room. And anything we can do to limit the profile of everything else should help us out. So assuming I've hooked this up correctly, what happens here is when there's something on this pressure plate, it's going to send a redstone signal to the repeater, which sends a strong signal to this block, powering the redstone dust on top of it. We send it up here so that the redstone dust is touching the hopper. That turns the hopper off. Nothing else can go through the hopper. If we pick the redstone dust up, something else can drop, and it will sit there until something picks it up. Cool? Sure. So if we fill that thing with coal, then what we should be able to do is produce mana continuously with the Endoflames. But it won't just be throwing it on the floor. Like, these things have no GUI. They pick up their burnables from the world, so despawning is something you gotta watch out for. This deals with all of that. I made us up some more living wood so that we can make the next block that we need. That's a mana spreader. This will allow us to take mana from something and send it to something. In this case, we're going to be taking it from the Endoflames and sending it to a mana pool. Now, we're going to make the mana pool in just a minute, but we'll put the mana spreader down. And what you don't want to do is put it right next to the pressure plate. The Manosphere Spreader, like many things in Botania, has a redstone functionality. If you give this a redstone signal, it turns off. And that can be very frustrating. So make sure you have it somewhere where it won't get turned off by a redstone signal. Now, to send mana to a mana pool, we need to make a mana pool. That's going to take living rock. And we can make that with, I think, most kinds of stone, right? Let's see here. Oh, just stone. But, we have plenty of that. Other thing we're going to need is kind of the wrench of the mod. And I think we'll do like cyan and maybe some purple. That sounds good. You need living wood twigs for this, and living wood twigs are expensive. They're 2 logs a piece. So, there are your twigs. You can use any petal to make this, and the petals you use will be reflected on the model. I think that's really awesome. All right, we got a little living rock. Very good. We'll get a little more going. And we'll use what we have to craft ourselves a mana pool. Real simple. We're going to set this up a little bit because eventually we're going to want to put something under it. So we might as well get ourselves, we must have some stairs lying around somewhere, right? Sure we do. There's some stairs to get up here. Help us out a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to link. We're going to shift click. Nope. We're going to shift click and shift click. There we go. You see how this moved a little bit, and now the dotted line is pointing at the mana pool. Shift click, shift click. We may have to do the same with the Endoflames. Yeah, now it's got a check mark. Now it's got a check mark. Now, if you place one down with a mana spreader that it can recognize, you don't have to take that step. So now that we have all this, what we're going to do is just throw a barrel up there, and we're going to put a bunch of coal in. Poof. And one Endoflame picked up a coal. Now this one picked one up. Over here, maybe across the way. Eventually, we'll see particle effects on all of these, and they'll burn the coal fast enough, even with 8 of them, that we're not going to have to worry about losing coal to despawning, even when all 8 are active. We'll see. I think that was number 8. Give it a second here, see how long it takes. But meanwhile, we can see mana going from our. Oh, that's about how long it takes. So definitely don't have to worry about that despawning. We can see it going from the mana spreader to the mana pool, and if we look in the mana pool, now we see there's a little bit of mana inside it. A mana pool does a lot of things. One of them is, like our friend the Pure Daisy over there, transformation. And the first thing we want to transform is iron into Manosphere. It does cost mana. It's hard to tell. But right now, well, you see the X on it. We can tell a lot better if we hold our Wand of the Forest. It'll give us a little bar. That little bit of blue all the way at the left is the manual that's in here. Doesn't take a lot to make Terrasteel. And Manosphere, I mean. Terrasteel's next. And 36 of these will get us the Manosphere seed, so it'll be the only time we have to worry about it. Okay, that went very quickly. That wasn't hard at all. We're just going to take the blocks of these and make the seeds with it. And then we'll have a never-ending supply. And it helps a lot if you use the right kind of essence. Alright. Next thing we need is a mana diamond. And you guessed it, you just throw your diamond in there. And we're going to use it to make a runic altar. And we can just slap it down right here. Cool. Now what we're going to be doing is be sending mana from here to here. This is another crafting mechanic. So we're going to slap a mana spreader right onto the side of the mana pool here. That's enough to hook it up to it. And we shift click, and we're in good shape. Where we're going is the Terrestrial Agglomeration plate, or something like that. And for that, we're going to need 5 of these runes. We're going to need all of the elemental runes, earth, air, water, and fire, and also the Rune of Mana. So, for example, the rune of water here, we're going to need all of these different ingredients. Now, we haven't looked at mana powder yet. You can make mana powder out of a couple different things, glowstone, gunpowder. We're growing everything out in the farm, so it doesn't really matter what we use. Now, what we do is we take the items from the recipe, all 5 of these things in this case, and you right-click them onto the runic altar, and you can see it in a little tooltip. You can see it floating around the altar. Pretty cool mechanic. Once you get a valid recipe in here, it will start. And you'll see mana going from the mana pool towards the altar. You see the little progress graph. Now when the graph fills up, you'll see this animation. And what you do is you right-click with Living Rock, and then right-click with your Wand of the Forest. And that's every rune you make. You're going to be doing that. We're going to go ahead and make the other 3, as well as the Rune of Mana. The Rune of Mana is a slightly different recipe. It uses a mana pearl, which you make just like Manosphere, and a mana diamond. You just throw an ender pearl in here, and you're good to go. And with those runes, and with 3 blocks of lapis, and we're going to need 4 more, I think. And a block of Manosphere. We can go ahead and make ourselves a Terrestrial Agglomeration plate. This is the main ingredient in a multi-block. The purpose of the multi-block is to make Terrasteel. This, you don't use a mana spreader. Mana spreaders won't work for this. I've never really understood the logic of what uses a mana spreader and what doesn't, but it's all detailed exhaustively in the... Is that right, or do we need 4 of these and 5? I can never quite remember, but I think this will tell. It doesn't really tell us. Let's go ahead and make them... Actually, we have the Akashic Tome, right? No, this is just the Malon Encyclopedia. I thought we had an Akashic Tome. I probably lost it. But the Lexica is easy enough to make. We might even have one in here. Doesn't look like it. Might be one lying around, but we'll just make one. So all you need is a book and nature, more or less. So what we want is Terrasteel, and Okay, yeah, we had it right. 4 lapis. I feel like either I check or I get it wrong. Like, there's no I do check and get it wrong. But if I don't check, it will be wrong. Simple, right? So how are we going to connect the mana pool to this thing? There is a block called a spark. And you can think of them as kind of the wireless transmitters and receivers of Botania. They're not hard to make. We just need, a little bit of blaze powder, gold nugget, couple of... Oh, we're going to need more blaze powder, aren't we? Do we have a... We do not. This is one that we're going to want to have for the pulverizer, because we just get much better rates, and the opportunity for sulfur. And we're going to need another pulverizer before too long. Now, the way it works is you put a spark on top of your mana pool there. You just place it like any other block, and you do the same over the agglomeration plate. Now, it has no hitbox, and in my experience, the easiest way is just to stand on top of the block that you're trying to place it on. To actually make Terrasteel, we are going to need half a mana pool full. We're a little under halfway there, so it'll be a couple of minutes. I did add a few more Endoflames. If memory serves, at least in 1.16, it seemed like 12 was the effective limit. Like, as fast as these burn a piece of coal and pick it up, that is how fast like this thing can run. You'll get coal just sitting there. Now that would change with stuff of a lower burning amount, but 12 is pretty good. Like, and we built it up pretty quickly. Okay, looks like we're there. Now what you do is you right-click your ingredients onto the agglomeration plate. In this case, we got a mana pearl, Manasteel ingot, and a mana diamond. And you'll see the spark, like right here. There's a line of particles going to the other spark, and of course we see the fancy animation. If we were to hover over this mana pool with our wand, we'd see it draining. And hopefully I'm right about it being half a mana pool and not a full one. Yes, I am. There is our first piece of Terrasteel. Now, fortunately for the metal shards, we're only going to need one ingot. We will need 35 more to craft the seeds, so that's a lot of mana pools. We may find more, a little faster way than the Endoflames as we progress. But right now, this is what we wanted, and this is what we got. Next time, we're going to work on making the rest of the ingredients and start figuring out how we're going to put them all together. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.